of turkeys. Hey everybody, just wanted to give you a quick update on the greenhouse. As you know, I have converted the deep water culture to a traditional, basically soil growing, except it's not really soil, it's just kind of a potting mix that I created. I do still have the fish in there, so I do have to have a tank heater during the winter and air all year long. Without air, the fish tend to die. So gotta have air. We're gonna duck down below that right there. I just filled up the tank. So I'll take the water from the tank in 2-gallon increments, and I will water each of the trees along with other, basically like Miracle-Gro or whatever. But I moved some of my herbs. So we have right there Chinese skullcap and horehound up there. I am going to be putting some more stuff in there. There's a couple big spaces that I can put things in. Over here we have the turmeric, so it's still growing. This little tree right here is a mandarin. I don't have a pot for it yet because the mango is still producing fruit. So as soon as the mango is done producing fruit, the mango is going to be put into this bigger pot because it does have bigger roots and it does need more space. So that's what I'm going to be doing right there. My aunt, I love you, Aunt Lisa, gave me a bunch of comfrey, and comfrey is really great for rabbits. It keeps them from getting sick and having problems. So having comfrey around, of course I just transplanted this, so it's in shock. It doesn't look so good, but it's going to perk right up in a couple days once it takes root in this area, and then it'll be fine. My orange, I still have an orange. Yes, I know it's green, but it's not called a green. It is an orange. Anyway, that one's growing some oranges on it. I do have 4 orange trees. I'm super happy about that. I have Japanese knotweed right there. That stuff is amazing for skin healing. The compounds that are in that are just great for wounds in the skin and being able to heal very quickly. Then we have willow bushes right here. Those are growing. I did order quite a bit of those, so those are going to be coming in the spring because I do like them and the rabbits love them. So I'll be feeding those to the rabbits throughout the year. It's going to provide them with a whole lot of nutrients, and they are going to be growing outside. I haven't made the plant beds for that yet because, well, I have about a million projects going on and I'm trying to get them all done. There's my other orange. Of course, I have a bay tree. Bay does get huge, so that's something that I'm going to have to take into consideration as that starts growing. I'm going to have to keep it dwarfed by keeping it very trimmed. It was about that tall when I first bought it, and now it's that big. I have my lemon. That thing is super pokey. Check this out. If you don't live in a climate that allows for lemons and limes, you don't know these things. So when you get these trees, you're like, what is that? So look at that. That thing is like, well, let me get it. There we go. Well, almost. Maybe it'll work. Hold on a second. Let me find one. So back here, you can see the spike. It's all over the trees. So if you're not really careful, you're gonna get poked, and those things are super sharp. My fig tree, this right here, I had to pull out of the bed over there because it was getting way too big and it kind of shocked it. You can see there's still leaves and stuff on it. It's fine. It's gonna come back, but it is in shock. But that one's gonna end up being grafted, and I'm gonna produce more trees from it. Let's go back around to the front for a second because I can't get through with the tree. Cinder bed. So the center bed is filled with 4 avocados and 3 pineapple and some lettuce and celery. So the lettuce and celery are just kind of growing only because I had them, so I figured I'd put them in there. No big deal. And then of course I have little pots of, that's a kiwi, that's a kiwi, that's a kiwi. I forgot what that is, and I forgot what that is. So now I'm kind of playing a guessing game on what those are. Those are in shock as well, so they don't look all that great. The avocados are also kind of in shock because I did transplant 2 of those. The other ones, like this one here, it shipped to me and then I planted it, and well, its branches are just like hanging all over the place. So I'm gonna have to stake those up, tie those up, and get them kind of to form how I want them to grow. Otherwise, they're gonna look like a bush. So that's one of the things I'm gonna have to do, along with my other million of projects. So that's the center bed, 4 avocados, 3 pineapple, and a bunch of other stuff. All the way in the back there is my lime next to the lemon. You saw the lemon earlier. Lime is the same way. There's some spikes on it, so definitely got to be careful around that thing. And then my mango, I still have a mango growing, so as soon as that ripens, I'm going to pick it, eat it, and then this mango is going to move over to the other area so that the mandarin tree, which is back here, will be able to grow better. It's totally leaning over because the mango is blocking the sun. So once the mango is gone, the mandarin's going to do way better. So that thing is just sun deprived. Anyway, that's going to get better. I do have 6 bags, 5 that are in the greenhouse, but 6 total, where I'm going to be growing potatoes. Those are the Huckleberry Gold. They are a low glycemic index potato. And if you don't know anything about the low glycemic index potato, definitely go look it up. Anybody that's a diabetic definitely needs to look that up. I started doing research, found it, and went and ordered it. I had to drive, I don't know, 3 hours to get to where they were being sold. But once I got them, I started planting them and started growing them, and these are going to be my seed potatoes for next spring. So that's why they're in here growing, so that I have enough seed potatoes for next spring to be able to plant outside. So that's why I'm growing those in here. I'm not actually growing them for food in here because there's just definitely not enough space. And of course my bananas, I got to step outside for you to get a full view of the bananas. They grow so big, and these are dwarfs. If you don't know anything about the dwarf bananas, they're not supposed to grow this big, but apparently they really like my greenhouse. And the problem with this, as you can see up here, is it gets tangled up into my shade cloth. So when I roll my shade cloth down, it's fine, but when I roll it up, it rolls up the leaves into the shade cloth and then damages them, which is why that one right there looks the way it does. It got jumbled up into the shade cloth and damaged. We in my bananas, I have Malabar spinach. That's what this is here. The Malabar spinach I just cut down because it was growing all the way up and tangling up in here, and it was going to start choking out the banana so I had to, because it was going to choke out the banana, I had to cut it and reduce its size. I believe, yep, right here. So you can't really tell, but this is actually 2 bananas, one in front of the other. But when I move it off to the side, you'll see that those are 2. So this is the pup, and that's the mother plant. So I'm waiting for the mother plant to produce flower, and once it flowers, it'll produce bananas, and then it'll die off, and then the pup will take its place. And I have a pup, 1 pup. I kill everything else. I pull everything else out because I don't want it overgrown. But I'll pull everything but 1 pup out of each of the pots. And I just let 1 pup grow in anticipation that that pup is going to take over when the mother plant dies. My Namwa which is one of my bananas, didn't have any pups growing, and I was really worried about it because it's not as tall. It is much more bushy, but it wasn't producing any pups until recently. So that right there is its first pup. So I'm definitely babying that thing. It doesn't look all that great, but I think it'll be fine. I'm hoping it'll be fine. But that's my Namois. Everything else has had a pup. My apple banana has a pup, and the other two have pups, and they've had pups for a long time. They've had pups for so long that the pups are so big that they're as big as the mother plant was when I brought the mother plant over. So I'm hoping I get bananas soon. Then I can figure out which one I want to keep over the others. The Namois, of course, is so slow that I'm hoping it's not that one. But you never know. Anyway, up here, this is where I took out the Japanese, or sorry, no, the Chinese skull cap. The Chinese skull cap was right in there. And what I'm going to do is put a bunch of my cooking herbs in here, other than my bacoba. That one's going to stay. But I already have winter savory. I have rosemary, thyme, and oregano. Sorry, oregano's over there. And so I'm going to add some more herbs into that. And then that should be pretty much my supply for the winter. Basil is going to be one that I really, really want to have in here because I use basil in a lot of stuff. But anyway, that is the short little update on the greenhouse. The not aquaponics greenhouse. Even though I have fish, it's not aquaponics. And I still use the fish water in order to grow the plant. So I will take buckets and water all the plants with the buckets of fish water. And that really rotates the fish water out so it doesn't get high in ammonia, which will cause the fish to die. So that's pretty much it, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.